So I think that works out well. And I contemplate 4-betting, but I didn't want to do it with King 7 offsuit because that hand plays pretty poorly post flop, and I think that this guy is just going to be calling a bunch of 4-bets. And also, a pretty good concept is when you're playing deep like this, the type of range that you should be 4-betting with, like your 4-bet bluffs, should not be the same, not be anywhere near the same as the type of hands you should be 4-bet bluffing with 100 big blind stacks. And I say that because, with 100 big blind stacks, very good hands to, 4-bet as bluffs are just hands with no value at all, ace X, offsuit, stuff like that. Because our opponents are usually folding or just shoving preflop, and it just sets up really easy decisions to have a really polarized range there. But if you're 4-betting with deep stacks like this, like over 2 buy-ins deep, they could definitely flat, and you actually have to play some poker afterwards. And you should generally want a bet that. I should have bet that after I checked the flop. And now he just leaves pot, and he has to give it. But back to that, if you're playing really deep, you should be 4-betting hands that can actually play a little bit post flop as your bluffs, because your opponents are not going to just be shoving all in or folding. They actually will call some of the time, and especially against a guy like this, I would not want to be 4-betting a hand like a King 7 offsuit, because he's going to call, and we're going to have to play post-flop, and King 7 offsuit does not play very well post-flop. But it's kind of a weird situation that you have to get used to the more you play deep stack, because a lot of hands fall perfectly into if I'm going to be 4-betting them and trying to if they play decent post-flop. Why should I be 4-betting them? Because they play decent post flop. I'll just call the 3-bet with them and play like that. It's really kind of a fine line, and I think you should probably be 4-betting with hands that are a little too weak to call a 3-bet, but they still don't play that poorly post flop. Stuff like Jack 8 suited or something like that, or like. I want to say like Jack 9 suited, stuff like that, but that plays pretty perfectly to, just peeling a 3-bet and playing like that. But at the very least, that should be some good food for thought on 4-betting with deep stacks. And I'm checking a hand on another table, I guess. I apologize. Can't be playing my best if I'm playing other tables too, but I think our match against Jesus has been pretty interesting so far, actually. And I think I like checking back this flop because and I check back, and because he's just been so not ready to use the fold button at all. I just want to pot control, and then he bets again on the river, and I just go ahead and give it to him. Pretty standard hand given how we've been playing so far. And I'm going to be 3-betting the ace queen I noticed that he was just instantly peeling on us. So I think I can just start three betting a lot of hands for value. I don't think I need to even have a polarized range. So I go ahead and three bet the ace queen, and it's pretty interesting. Flop a pretty good draw here. He goes ahead and raises to 26, which is a little bit bigger than he's been making it so far. And I have a couple options. I really don't ever want to fold. I can either call or three bet. What do I think of calling? I like it. I do it. But what about three betting? I think three betting with these stacks is just going to be pretty spewy, because you should be three betting, not looking to really fold. Three bet folding, I really don't think is a very good way to play a pretty strong draw like this. And if you do get it in, if you three bet, we're two buy-ins deep. That's way too much. We're going to be getting it against a six in really bad. But I decided to call, and then on the turn, again, kind of the same options. I could call or I can raise. I really don't want to fold, because we have a lot of outs, and we even have some pretty disguised outs. And he does kind of have a decently wide range for check raising the flop. So I actually think that if we call here, we could probably profitably bluff some rivers too, if he decides to give up with a misdraw or some other error. I think he can check fold to us. So I decided to call, also because we're 400 deep on the turn, and any sort of a raise size is just really disgusting, because it allows him to just really play perfectly, and for us to commit a lot of money really poorly. So I decided to go ahead and just call, and river does not help us at all. And he just bets 88, and I don't think he's looking to fold. So and we missed. So I just go ahead and give it to him. Remember, he had been doing that, about half pot size bet with a wide range of value hands before. So I would expect him to have a decent hand there, and not really be bluffing. And in the chat, he says hard draw, which makes me feel even better about my fold, because I know in my experience, I've only ever really done stuff like that. I haven't really done it in a while, but I only really get in a mood to say oh, did you have a hard draw? Like if I had a really strong hand, and I think he probably is on the same lines. He probably actually had a six there or something. I really doubt if he had just bluffed us off the pot there with his half pot river three barrel. I really don't think he would have been guessing, asking us if we had a hard draw. So I think it kind of confirms our play. Although we don't have exact information. It's just an inference. I think we're nearing the end of this. I'm over an hour already, but I think there's one more interesting hand that comes up that I'd like to talk about. And he goes ahead and three bets. Still would expect him to be doing this with the wide range, but King 9 offsuit just plays too poorly to be calling the three bet, and